Greetings and salutations, I'm Keb. Welcome back to this Let's Play of 80 Days. We are traveling through Burma at the moment. We hired a chint driver to take us to Rangoon. The woman drove us in silence, perhaps determined to maintain a professional relationship. Clearly, she had never encountered a passenger quite like Monsieur Fogg before. Yeah, okay. Let's converse. With Mr. Fogg, of course, only. Let's talk about Rangoon. Well, Canton. Not much to be said there, I suppose. We arrived without incident into Rangoon as the sun was setting. Okay, the markets are closed because it's light at night. We can't even explore, and we don't have an option to travel further, so the only thing we can do is spend the night. Rangoon still bore the marks of its capture at the hands of the British in the last Anglo-Burmese War. But in the following decade, King Bagan had transformed from a bloodthirsty tyrant to a statesman capable of recapturing Rangoon, crushing a rebellion by his British sympathizing half-brother, and winning the love of his people. A feat of not inconsiderable diplomacy and cunning. Her Majesty's government had been utterly flummoxed by the reversal of fortune in the region, and Burma had become something of a national shame in the London press. I had taken a mere 2 steps from the veranda of our lodgings when an enormous shadow darkened the street. There was a grinding shriek and hot breath, and then I was seized in a great iron claw. A claw! In all my travels I had not expected such treatment. The ground fell away in a dizzying rush. The automaton was not flying, precisely, but rather leaping with a powerful bunching of hydraulics and gears. With 3 powerful jumps, the creature scaled a nearby temple and deposited me at the very top of the pagoda. I dared a look at my captor, only to find myself similarly scrutinized by a pair of jewel-faceted predator's eyes. The automaton was an enormous, gilded iron lion with a heartbreakingly human porcelain face and torso. Its mane was made of strands of uncut rubies, glimmering like blood in the river-washed sun. Of its teeth, the less said the better. Suffice to say, I was quite discomfited to be clinging to the very tip of the pagoda's tower, mere inches from its jaws. "I am Manushya," it said in a grating rumble, "and you are in my city, Jean Passepartout." "You know my name?" I demanded, my distaste for my Christian name overriding my fear. "I know every creature that comes here. I am the protector of the city. I know the whys and hows of every creature that passes through my domain, but your purpose is a mystery." "We are going around the world," I declared, but with far less than my usual gusto, aware as I was of the long drop which awaited me if I chose my words without care. "The world is a dangerous place," Manushya said, grinding its iron teeth in a horrible smile, "and you Europeans only make it more so wherever you go." "You are the watchdog of the king," I suggested, "like the CHINTHE who sits in front of the temple." Manushya shook his blank human face from side to side in a clatter of rubies. "I am an imperial advisor to King Pagan, and no simple collection of gears and levers." I could scarcely believe Manushya's calm philosophical discourse, but I insisted, "Who made you?" Manushya sighed a hot gust. "I was once a royal child's toy, a man-eating lion with cushioned teeth and emerald eyes, but there was some spark in my shard which allowed me to create myself. I cannibalized the other toys in the imperial nursery. I bit and soldered and scratched myself into being." "You are your own creator," I breathed. In horror, wonder, I do not rightly know. I have only just begun, Manusha seemed to preen, every inch a feral lion wrapped around a combustion engine. Enjoy my city, Sean Passepartout, but when you leave, you will go to Pang Sao Pass. But there is no route that way. There will be. It seized me in its warm paw once more, and leapt to a street in one heart-stopping bound. By the time I had finished shaking, Manusha was gone, his last ambiguous words echoing in my head. I wondered how much of the Kingdom of Burma's recent change of fortune could be ascribed to the protector of Rangoon. Oh my. I wondered whether the people of Burma would one day proclaim themselves subjects of an automaton king. I wondered if it could truly be worse than a monarch of flesh and blood. I wondered many other things, best left unvoiced. So now, we got a route all the way up to Pang Sao Pass. But that's not where I want to go. Let's explore. Okay, so I have a choice to go down to Batavia instead. I went out to explore the streets of Rangoon during the hot midday sun, like a fool, but could not shake the strange prickling sensation of being watched. I explored further in the shade, taking in the gilded pagodas, lush fountains, and busy temples of a thriving city. Market. We are going to Batavia. Can we buy another one? Can't I buy another suitcase? Apparently not, okay. Never mind then. We'll go now. Oh, it's 42 minutes, let's go right now. A flying synth. So now we're flying. We took a flying synth, a Leoglyph-styled airship with enormous hammered copper wings from Rangoon. So we disobey them, their lion. Could be bad. The passengers were Burmese troops who were guarding a mysterious chest in the cargo hold. As we departed, I could not help but wonder if Manusha would wreak revenge on us for ignoring his instructions, or if his threats had been empty all along. Let's converse. Let's talk about Batavia. I want to go from Batavia to Singapore. Okay, from Singapore to somewhere else. To Machu Picchu. Maybe not. It's a quick route. Traveling by air is expensive and fast. That's the advantage of it. I engaged one of the operators in conversation. "Are you being posted to Batavia?" I asked genially, trying to look comfortable strapped into my seat on the exposed back of the automation. "No," said the second lieutenant. "Are you usually so loquacious?" I asked ironically. "No," he replied again, and turned away. Well, thankfully I did not have to bear the silence for too long, as we swooped over the magnificent vistas of Batavia. I saw why the Dutch called it Verheffenstadt, the exalted city, for the fort floated above the swamplands below, melting into haphazard settlements that stretched inland. And the market is closed because it's late in the evening. The trip to Singapore starts when? In 3 days at 2 p.m. Okay. That's a lot of money. But I want to go, so fine. 2 p.m. tomorrow. We can only have 2 suitcases. We have to spend one night anyway. The heart of Verheffenstadt, the exalted city of Batavia, was a floating fort of gigantic iron struts built over the swamplands of Kali Besar and overlooking the Sunda Kebhala harbour. Kilapa Harbor, yeah. Dutch hotels and Chinese settlements dotted with Buddhist shrines pushed themselves up in the shadow of the walls, hemmed in by the sprawling, unplanned Javanese kampongs. We took a room at the Hotel des Indes, a fairly comfortable establishment overlooking the water, where I watched a captain preparing his boat Spicy Jake for passage to Singapore. A perfect place to rest, though through the window we heard the sounds of an unrestful city long into the night. I don't want to explore the city, I just want to go to the market and then travel up to Singapore. So I'm just waiting for the time here. I could speed it up, but the clock runs so fast even without speeding it up. So there we go, market is up. We're not gonna go to Yokohama probably. Let's sell it here, that's fine. We might pass one of those places. I'm gonna go with those. And I'm gonna stick to two, that's fine. Depart, let's go. Cost us a fair amount of money, this. We still have £10,000, so I think we're gonna be good on money. The only boat we could find from the port of Batavia, heading through the Pacific Islands to Singapore, was the Spicy Jake, a Dutch vessel crewed by pirates or decent men of fortune. I gulped with alarm, but we did not stay ashore. Converse. Let's talk. I want to go from there to somewhere. To Brisbane, maybe. Colombo. We do know a route from Singapore, so... The atmosphere around the pirates was tense, to say the least. We made a special effort to befriend them, which essentially meant I sat up on the sun-soaked deck and asked them to describe their bloody adventures in the mountains and tree-topped ridges that we passed. They seemed keen to talk, and their talk of throat-slitting went on for many hours. I listened with a raised eyebrow and an expression of disgust. Your laundry bills must be immense, I commented finally, and the men fell into paroxysms of laughter, slapping me in the back. You, one declared, are a card. Fogg's health is going down. Let's attend to him. The second day began with the Singapore harbour in sight. The captain came and found us. I apologize if my men have made sport of you, he began, in heavily accented English. They are children, cruel but kind-hearted. It is no matter, I replied foggishly. Ooh, good, foggishly. The captain nodded. Thank you for your trust, he said. Many treat us traders as pirates, but we are merely businessmen. He brought something from his pocket as he spoke. And speaking of business, I have a proposition for you. What manner of proposition? I asked courteously. I have been carrying this for some time, he said, opening his palm to reveal a small gleaming ruby. The dragon's eye, he said. How I got it is not important, only that I haven't been able to sell it. It is worth a few thousand to the right buyer. Yours for 300. I took a look at the gem. It sparkled with bloody luster. How valuable it was I could not tell, but it was certainly not glass. You have a deal, I declared. Trusting him, I counted out £300, careful not to let him see how much more we had. Definitely. And he placed the ruby into my palm. May it bring you more luck than me, he said ominously. With that, he swept away. We made port a few hours later. Your funds are gone down significantly. Yeah, £300. In Brisbane. Okay. Really? Brisbane? Yeah, oh, darn it. That's not exactly where we wanted to go. This is valuable here though, so we're gonna sell that. We can't travel away from here. And it's too late to do anything but to go to the market. But it is valuable here as well. We'd lose pounds though, if we do that. Don't think I want to go down to Brisbane. Yokohama, on the other hand. No, let's buy that. Don't think we're going to go across the open road. Oh, I forgot about this one. Ooh. I completely forgot about this. Oh, well, I'll sell it here then. We can't really get anything out of it. And again, I want just to reserve myself just 2 boxes, so I'm going to go with this. San Francisco, Brisbane, Hong Kong. Yokohama would certainly fetch a good price. Manila. We'll see where we can go from Singapore later. For now, we have to spend the night. Singapore was a British colonial port peopled largely by Chinese, Malays and Indians, and fueled by rubber exports and opium wealth, pouring into the new banks. I walked along the harbour front and spied brightly painted airships and well-rigged boats heading for distant ports. I inquired about vessels heading for Brisbane or Manila. We are running out of time, really. Let's go for Manila. Manila in the Spanish Philippines. And one of the Malay sailors pointed me in the direction of a little steam yacht. "She goes to Manila," he said, then cocked his head. "Are you a Spaniard?" "I am French, monsieur." Truly, I was growing tired of being so thoroughly misidentified. The sailor shrugged. "Heard that there's cholera in Manila. If you're not a Spaniard and have no business there, maybe you should avoid it." He shrugged again. "Then again, you rich people do whatever you want, so why am I bothering?" "Thank you for the warning," I said politely, not wanting to insist on my lack of wealth to a man wearing rough clothes upon a body bent with labour. The sailor jerked a nod and went back to his companions, leaving me to contemplate his advice upon the Singaporean dock. So now we have a choice. We can travel up to Hong Kong or to Manila. Right? We're gonna go to Manila. Cholera be damned. And we did have some items that could sell there, so... We took passage on a little steam yacht with a cargo hold full of Chinese silk parasols, which the captain assured me would fetch an exorbitant price in Manila. "Are the ladies there so shy of the sun?" I asked in Spanish. "These pretty money makers are only passing through Manila," Captain Amparo, a dark-eyed Filipino of middle years, was unable to keep the glee from her voice. "I will sell them to a trader for shipment to Acapulco, where the Mexican ladies will pay all their pin money for a month for just one gaudy parasol." "Will you keep one for yourself?" I could not resist asking. "Me?" she looked astonished. "What use would I have for such a frippery?" I regarded her sensible attire and short hair. "I admire your practicality." Captain Amparo laughed companionably. "That is a skill I have always possessed." I slept well that night aboard the steam yacht, secure in the knowledge that it was being steered by the captain's steady hands. Let's see. So now we can talk to the captain. To Hong Kong, to Yokohama. Traveling circus in Yokohama. And if you've read the books, yeah, go through Hong Kong. Hong Kong, let's see, Yokohama to Honolulu. No, okay, fine. Yokohama to Pyongyang. Not much about those potentials. We had made some ill winds in the morning, but Captain Amparo kept the crew calm and focused, shouting orders at them in a language I did not know. Tagalog, perhaps, as it was widely spoken in the Philippines. We were merely bobbed about a little, until the weather settled, but the worst injury was some seawater clogging my shoes. So we got some new shoes. Haha. We will not be delayed, Captain Amparo assured me, perhaps mistaking the cause of my obvious melancholy. Oh no, it's my shoes I mourn, I pointed at the ruined articles. She looked confounded. My God, you are an utter dandy. Do you really care so much for appearances? A gentleman is always presentable, I sniffed. I do not care for fashion's sake. Converse again, let's try. Okay, that's Fogg. Darn it. Not much to be done there, I suppose. We should have groomed him instead, I suppose. Captain Amparo had taken to regarding me as though I were the oddest creature to ever take passage aboard her vessel, and she still looked thunderstruck when we reached our destination. Good luck in Manila, she said, tossing one of the parasols into my outstretched hand. They will hardly know what to make of you. So now we got a free item, right? We got a Chinese silk parasol. We're not gonna go to Brisbane. Yeah, right, that was valuable here. Okay, departures. We can go to Yokohama right now. I was going to go another route though. You know what, we're gonna stay right here. I'm not gonna go to Yokohama. Because I know there's a better route. Just have to decide. We're not gonna go to Brisbane. We're not gonna go to Yokohama. We're not gonna go through those cities either, I think, so... Okay, now we can explore. Manila, as you can see, has a lot of different routes. I wanted to be sure I had them. And it's this one I'm particularly interested in. A long, long route across the Pacific. But it's a fast one. We arrived at the Spanish-governed capital of Manila at a most inopportune time. The city had recently suffered the depredations of a major typhoon, and the efforts at rebuilding had been stalled by an outbreak of the dreaded cholera morbus. It originated with sailors of the steamer Aeolus from the nearby town of Zambognara. That was the local rumor in any case. Infected establishments were burned daily by the sanitary board, with our hotel one of the casualties. We relocated near to the telephone exchange, taking the mechanical horse-pulled train. And here comes the things. Concerned with the possibility of infection, I ensured that Monsieur Fogg... And then our choices here. Because if you've been a bad valet, you will not have the middle choices, which is the right one. Otherwise, Mr. Fogg will get cholera, I believe. So he drank only boiled water, as recommended by Jon Snow's. Ooh, Jon Snow's. Ooh. I don't think it's Saint Jon Snow, though. Don't think it's the Game of Thrones one. Jon Snow's article in the Medical Times and Gazette, going to the lengths of preventing him from eating any uncooked foods for fear of contamination. From our window, I could see carts piling high, with the dead being taken to the mountain to be burned, rather than interred in a churchyard, which put me in a morbid frame of mind. I went to the local telegraph office and sent a message to dear Mama, full of earnest declarations of filial adoration. I will not tell you of its particulars, but I am not ashamed to admit their sentimentality. I made my way back to Monsieur Fogg under the fragrant coconut oil lamps, eager to part from the city, riven by sickness and death. And we can't travel that mighty long route to Acapulco, was it? In 2 days. Ah. There we go. Negotiate. Yeah, that's fine. Tomorrow at noon. So I'll spend the night. Before retiring, I afforded my master every service, because his health was going down, providing him with clipped moustaches. So now the journey is ready. Let's go to Acapulco. That's a fast journey, as you can see. Or it actually doesn't say here. At any rate, let's go with airship this time. The REINA CHRISTINA. We boarded the REINA CHRISTINA, a Spanish tourist Kebzero type airship, its gondola shaped to resemble one of the infamous Spanish galleons of previous centuries, and as richly outfitted, with Philippine hardwood furniture, Fijian silk curtains, and lacquered ornamental automata imported from China. My cabin resembled a fashionable salon more than an airship berth. Let's groom Fogg a bit. Our journey to Acapulco would last a total of 7 days, including a day stop to refuel in Honolulu. And then we would be almost at the Atlantic, and within a short hop of home. The captain asked me a little of our journey. I explained we were going around the world as fast as possible. The captain nodded with interest. You should go to Panama there, if you can, he said. I'm told there are some impressive new airships, well, things like airships, being built there, if you can find them. Like airships? I pressed. He looked uncomfortable. The Haitians have their own way of building things, he said. You will see, perhaps. So again, hints at adventures in other cities, and there are tons of them too. Uncover. Oh darn it! I missed a chance for conversation there. The Filipino crew spoke a mix of Tagalog and Spanish, all mixed in with Lascar sailors. Let's say all mixed in with Lascar sailors can't, which sailors can't. Yeah, rather. Oh yeah, can't contation. That's what. Oh, didn't get that word right. Which utterly fascinated me, though I did not have the skill to understand it. Don't bother trying to learn it, the captain remarked in elegant Spanish. You need a sailor's heart to do so. Do you know it? I asked shyly. I am the captain of the ship you are travelling upon, he replied, with a glitter in his dark, thick-lashed eyes. You should hope I have a sailor's heart. I think you do. I could not help giving him a smile, which he returned rather rakishly. Truly, he said, I meet the most remarkable people as captain of an airship. Let's try to converse. Let's talk about Acapulco and how we can go from there. Acapulco to Havana? Havana to Acapulco to Panama. Oh, okay, fine. Didn't learn anything new there, I guess. A portrait of King Amadeo I hung in one of the relatively unused corridors of the gondola. From which I surmised that the captain was only indifferently devoted to his monarch. A painting of the Guadalajara harbor, my goodness, and however, hung in pride of place at the dining car. The painter is skilled. I remarked, and the captain blushed. I am the painter, he confessed. Guadalajara, I think that's how you pronounce it. Is right? Guadalajara is where the REINA Christina was built, at the Army Airship Works. I thought she would have some I thought she should have some commemoration of her birthplace. This is an army ship? I asked, surprised. Well, yes, the captain looked confused. The REINA Christina belongs to the Spanish crown, but she is a trader rather than a warship. Over dinner, the captain told me about Honolulu, where we would stop in the morrow, if I believed his telling. It was a giddy paradise, and I became to ache that we would not be stopping there. Start another conversation. Talk about Acapulco, please. Acapulco to somewhere. Okay, fine. Not much to be said there, I suppose. Oh, and we've been playing for too long. So I'm going to take a short break here before we land at Honolulu. Thank you for watching.